Most guys who decide to fix their mindset go looking for motivation. They find a quote, they feel fired up for 2 days, and then life happens and they're right back where they started. I know because I did that for years. Here's what actually changed things for me. 3 habits, not 10, not a morning routine with 17 steps. 3 specific things I started doing consistently, and I want to walk you through each one because the last one is the one almost nobody talks about, and it's probably the one doing the most damage to your mental strength right now without you even realizing it. But first, let me be straight with you. This video isn't about motivation. Motivation is the problem. What we're actually building here is discipline across 3 areas of your life: your body, your emotions, and your money. And when all 3 are working together, something shifts in how you carry yourself. That's what a real mindset shift feels like. So let's get into it. Habit number 2 comes first because it earns everything else. Start lifting weights consistently. I don't mean occasionally. I don't mean when you feel like it. I mean showing up to a barbell or a set of dumbbells multiple times a week like it's a job. And here's why this one goes so much deeper than just how you look. Physical activity, specifically strength training, releases something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. These are the chemicals responsible for the growth and development of neurons in your brain. So every time you're grinding through a hard set, you're literally building a better brain. Brain chemicals like BDNF and insulin-like growth factor may play a role in how fitness supports both mental and brain health. That's not a metaphor. That's biology. But the mental benefit that nobody talks about enough is this. The weight room works as a controlled space to practice pushing through the feeling of, I can't. Researchers have described it as a kind of laboratory where you rehearse self-efficacy, the belief that you can handle hard things, and that skill transfers directly to real-life setbacks. When something goes wrong at work, in a relationship, or in your finances, the guy who's been consistently training already has a reference point. He's been in that place where his body was screaming to stop, and he kept going anyway. He knows what that feels like. He knows he can get through it. There's also something that some researchers call cognitive stacking. The idea that when you're training with real focus, consciously tracking the muscle you're squeezing and the speed of the bar at the same time, your brain is running motor control and executive function simultaneously. That's similar to the kind of mental demand real-world stress puts on you. So you're not just getting stronger physically, you're training your brain to handle complexity under pressure. And here's the thing about strength training that most guys get wrong. Positive associations have been found between meeting strength training guidelines and both mental health and happiness. But the mental skill that actually makes the training work long-term isn't motivation. It's delayed gratification. Training your technique, your positioning, your consistency, long before any of it looks impressive. The weight room rewards you for grinding through plateaus, not for chasing novelty when progress slows down. That patience is the habit. The muscle is just the byproduct. The benefits of regular strength training on mental health are well documented. And in one athlete study, researchers tracked not just strength gains, but whether athletes became more aware of their own psychological improvement over time. And they found that confidence and self-awareness of those benefits grew progressively alongside measurable strength gains over 8 weeks. The stronger they got, the more they recognized it. That feedback loop is powerful. So that's habit 1. Now here's where it gets interesting, because habit 2 is the one most guys either completely ignore or handle the wrong way. Emotional control under pressure. And before you scroll out on me, stick with this, because this is the one that's quietly wrecking more men than anything else. The last habit I'm going to cover is the one that connects all of this together, and you're going to want to hear it. But first, emotions. Most of us were told to just keep it together. Don't show weakness. Don't react. Hold it in. And honestly, for a lot of situations, staying composed is the right call. But here's what the research actually says about why that works for some guys and completely backfires for others. The higher your heart rate variability, your HRV, the more adaptive and responsive your cardiovascular system is, supporting fast and flexible responses to manage stressors effectively. Vaguely mediated heart rate variability is a physiological index reflecting parasympathetic activity that has been linked to emotion regulation capacity. In plain terms, HRV is a measure of how well your nervous system can shift gears, And men with lower resting HRV who try to suppress their emotions during conflict actually end up feeling worse, more negative effect, more psychological cost. But men with higher HRV show no such link. So the problem often isn't that you're holding it together. The problem is an untrained nervous system that can't actually handle the load. This matters because emotional suppression isn't automatically a bad thing. That's actually a Western psychology assumption that's been challenged. The real variable isn't whether you suppress an emotion, it's whether you have flexibility, whether you can access other strategies when suppression stops serving you. A guy who can only white-knuckle his way through pressure is going to crack eventually. A guy who has actual range, who can hold it together when needed and process it properly when the moment is right, that's a different animal. And here's something worth knowing for any argument or high-pressure conversation you're in. When someone seems completely unreachable mid-conflict, it's usually not stubbornness. It often means their nervous system has hit a state where complex thinking is temporarily offline. Trying to reason with someone in that moment almost always backfires. The first move has to be lowering the arousal level, yours and theirs, before any productive thinking can happen. So how do you actually train this? A few ways. Breathwork, specifically slow exhale-focused breathing, directly stimulates the vagus nerve and raises HRV over time. Cold exposure, even briefly, trains your system to stay calm under physical stress. And here's the connection back to habit 1. Consistent strength training also improves HRV. So the guy who's training his body regularly is also, without realizing it, training his nervous system to handle emotional pressure better. These two habits stack. Now for the last one. And this is the one I promised at the start, the one almost nobody talks about when they talk about mindset. But I'd argue it's doing more quiet damage to how men feel about themselves than almost anything else. Building a savings habit. I know. You came here for mindset, not a finance video. But stay with me, because the reason this one matters is entirely psychological, and the science behind it is genuinely wild. One psychological barrier to putting money aside may be an inability to fully empathize with the economic situation of one's future self. Here's what that actually means. Neuroimaging research has found that when people imagine their future self, the brain activity looks more like imagining a total stranger than imagining their current self. Your brain is literally treating future you like someone you don't know. So when you think about saving money for the future, it doesn't feel like you're taking care of yourself. It feels like you're giving something away. And that's why it's so hard. Your brain doesn't process saving as neutral. Spending activates the brain's pleasure centers. Saving, on the other hand, can activate the insula, the same region tied to processing physical pain. So the resistance you feel when you try to save money isn't weakness. It's your brain working exactly as it was wired. The fix isn't more willpower. The fix is making your future self feel real. And researchers actually tested this. Participants who saw age-progressed pictures of themselves chose to allocate a significantly higher proportion of hypothetical income to retirement compared to a control group. In a randomized field study involving nearly 50,000 people, showing participants an aging filter image of themselves increased the number of account holders who made contributions to their retirement savings. Just seeing a realistic version of who you'll be in the future changed actual financial behavior. Research finds that connecting people to their future selves motivates them to engage in long-term financial planning, such as saving for retirement. So the practical version of this is simple. Get specific about what you're saving for. Not the future. That's too abstract. A number, a date, a version of your life that feels real and concrete. Automate a transfer the day you get paid so the decision is already made before you can talk yourself out of it. Start small if you have to. The habit is the thing, not the amount. And here's why this connects to mindset. A man who has no financial cushion lives in a constant, low-level state of anxiety, whether he admits it or not. Every unexpected expense is a crisis. Every opportunity he can't afford chips away at how he sees himself. But a man with even a modest savings habit carries himself differently. He has options. He has breathing room. That feeling is not separate from your mindset. It is your mindset. So here's where we landed. 3 habits. Strength training consistently because it builds your brain, trains your belief that you can push through hard things, and physically improves your nervous system's ability to handle stress. Emotional control under pressure, not by white-knuckling everything, but by actually training your nervous system to have more range and flexibility. And a savings habit, because making your future self feel real is the thing that actually gets you to act. At the start of this, you were probably thinking about mindset as something you find. A quote, a speech, a moment of clarity. By now you can see it's something you build, rep by rep, breath by breath, dollar by dollar. If this hit different for you, drop a comment below and tell me which one of these three you're starting with. That one comment tells the algorithm this video is worth pushing to more guys who need it, and I read every single one. And if you want to go deeper on any of these, especially the training side, there's a video right up here that goes into exactly how to build that physical discipline from scratch. Watch that one next. It picks up right where this one left off.